there's a moment. Everybody say there's a moment. Where all of a sudden heaven lines up beyond your intellect, beyond what all you think you know, and there's this moment where all of a sudden His Word comes down into you. That moment is how miracles happen. See, miracles aren't something you're going to just beg God for over and over. They're not something you're going to be able to understand because they have a dynamic power that will occur in a situation, that can occur in your body, that can move in around you some way that you can't explain it. Other than say, that is only God. Let me define miracles for you. It's when a historic event, and if we're in an era of history shifting, it is when a historical event or a natural phenomenon appears to violate natural laws. They will violate gravity. They will violate every law around you to accomplish heaven's will. It reveals God to you if you have the eye of faith to see God. If you don't have the eye of faith to see God, you can miss that moment. Signs and miracles go together because a sign on your path will point you to the next level of miracle. That's why you don't want to stop. Look at somebody and say, it's too late for you to stop now. Say, it's too late to turn back now, baby. Because when you turn back, that's what I want you to understand. You've already been there. Even if you so messed up your path, God doesn't want you to go back to that place. He wants to bring that place in front of you as you move forward. Wonders cause you to have no explanation. They even put the fear of God in you where you know only God did that. Only God did that. I can't explain it. And you know what? You're going to have to say it. Only God did that. And you're going to have to look at somebody, whether they like you, don't like you, want to kill you, and you're going to say, but God did that. There will come a time where you, if you belong to Him, you will have to confess, but God did that. Miracles are linked with a working power. What was prophesied this morning. And they point to the presence of God intervening on your path. And when the presence of God intervenes, you can't explain it. You can't explain how God put all that together. You can try to. People can say, I don't understand. That is their problem. All you have to say is, I was blind yesterday, but I see today.
Amen.
They went to the parents of the boy in John chapter 9 and said, tell us what happened to him. They said, he's grown. Let him tell you what happened. Because the minute he tells you what happened, you're going to throw him out of the synagogue. Now, if he don't want to tell you what happened, he can stay blind in the synagogue. Now, if that doesn't define what religion really is,
Yes.
the minute you're going to say, God did this, you might get thrown out of the church.
Wow.
So I would find a church that believes, but God did this. A miracle is a proof that God is faithful to his covenant. He will do things. That's what that book Pam and I wrote, One Thing, is about. He showed us I can do miracles. I was thinking about that word this morning. See, what changed my life, I was in Galveston, Texas, and we were in a very, very bad situation. And I said, I was 16 years old. I said, Lord, if you can get us out of this situation right now, I will serve you the rest of my life. At that moment, a policeman pulled up in front of the hotel we were in, and I threw my sister out of the second floor window. And God spoke to me and said, I'll have this situation taken care of in 3 months. Just like what he said today. 3 months to the day, God took care of that situation. That's how miracles work. And once you see him, it is a proof that he can pull up and save you anytime you need him. Don't look at salvation as a ticket just to get into heaven. You need to look and tell somebody, I'm being saved right now. Now, yeah, you need to be confident that you're going to make it in. But that ain't just what salvation is about. It's about the delivering power of God to save you when you cry out, whether you need healing, like Pamela said, whether you need deliverance, like we say, you need to be saved today. A miracle happens as a divine fulfillment. And if you can see that he already knows your path. Now put this together. Because when you take your next step, he already knows the path you're going to walk toward. He knows, he gives you free will to choose. But he already knows what you're going to choose. He knows if you will allow Satan to influence you. And you know what? I know how precious you are, but he will let Satan be on your path. So you can become an overcomer. A lot of people, they have a real problem that bad things can happen to them. Bad things happen to good people. It's how you choose in the midst of that moment. Now, Brian, we've been reading through the Gospels back and forth, because that's going to help you understand the situations of miracles. See, just don't want God to do something to show you something. He has a real problem with that. You want to understand his intervention and that's what the miracles are all about in those Gospels. And the first thing you come to is in Luke right first. Robert teaches on this. But sometimes we don't listen and fully understand what he's saying, any of us are saying. We have to become a listener more than a communicator. See, all week long, my biggest role is to listen. So it was that while he, Zacharias, was serving as priest before God in the order of his division, according to the custom of the priesthood, his lot fell to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord. The Lord already knows where he's going to meet you sovereignly this week. That's where your miracle is. And as Robert teaches on this, he shares with us a timing element. Each section of priests served at the temple for 1 week, twice a year. So that's got quite of a ratio and odds of when something could happen inside the place. Priestly duties were assigned by lot. A priest could have the privilege of burning incense in the holy place only once during his lifetime, and sometimes never. So with Zacharias, who's old, so don't think your old bothers him. He does not say, you're too old for me to meet you. Zechariah gets this assignment once in his lifetime. If you breathe your next breath, he can have an assignment on your path. This is how miracles happen. And all of a sudden, this once in his lifetime situation, he goes into the Holy of Holies. He's burning incense, he's praying, he's speaking the Torah, he's doing what priests do, and an angel shows up, sent by the Lord. Now, you're going to have to recognize when an angel shows up on your path that's been sent for that moment. That's your responsibility. Now, I know God well enough that he will block your way. He will send people to you. He will do everything to get you to recognize him. But you're going to have to recognize him.